This week, the new £50 note came into circulation. But how long will we be using it? Britain is shifting to a cashless society at one of the fastest rates in the world, according to a recent Bank of England report. It says that Britain is only a few years behind the most cashless countries like Sweden, Finland and the Netherlands. In 2017, debit card transactions actually overtook cash payments in Britain, and more than 5 million people hardly use cash at all. By repute, even some street buskers and beggars now want you to pay by card. The result is that the banks are closing down branches and getting rid of cash machines because they say fewer people are using them. Now, this suits the banks because both are expensive to maintain. But is it really what we want? As someone who doesn't feel comfortable without a wadge of cash on my person, am I just an ageing Luddite?
Yes.
Yeah. Or, as campaigners argue, are we all being nudged in the direction of the cashless society by the financial institutions, not because it suits us, but because it suits them?
Hang on. Is this the Greg Dyke I was once on this show with, who, when you go home, you get all the coins out of your pocket, they go in a tin and they go to a homeless charity or something at the end of each year? Yeah. So you're just saying you can't do with that.
That's coins.
Well, it's still part of cash, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's nothing compared to...
But no, for ordinary people watching this now, the idea...
How much have you got on you now?
How much have I got on me now? Yeah. Well, real money? I don't know, a couple of £100 on me. But if I get down to 20... I still panic. I still go and try and rush to get to a cash machine to get real money.
Yes.
Now, all I'm saying is that just because I'm an old bloke and...
No, it's because you've got a lot of money.
No. I'm sure you can get money out of a cash machine as well. That's not the point. The point is it an insecurity of people like me?
What do you do with this money, though, when you've got it? Do you actually pay for stuff in shops with money?
Yeah.
Yes.
So you wouldn't use your card?
Sometimes I use the card. If it's less than 30 quid, I often swipe a card. But other than that, I will use cash sometimes, yeah.
Wow.
Don't you use cash at all?
Never.
Taxis, I use cash.
No,
Michelle, I don't know really whether we can listen to you that much, because when I heard this, well, I knew I had to consult a financial guru so that I was up to speed for Greg's debate. I tried Mark Carney, I tried Christine Lagarde, neither of them were available. So instead I went through my box set of The Pledge, and I was reminded of this from you.
I'm of the opinion that crypto is the future. We will almost certainly see a correction of its purely upward trend, and likely some regulation to boot. But in my view, crypto, and in particularly Bitcoin, is to money today what the internet was to communication in the late 90s. I see it as the future.
Now, that's one very smart girl, but that's one Michelle Dubey in December 2017. Just for your information, Bitcoin has now lost more than a quarter of its value at the last week. Its current price of around $9,500 is way off its all-time high, 20,000 US.
And what did that very smart lady just say on there? She said you will almost certainly see a correction.
A correction?
Yes.
Over 2 years.
I don't dispute that Bitcoin is a very volatile asset. I don't dispute that, not least because I hold some and I've lost some money on it.
The issue here. We're not talking about Bitcoin.
I think he is confusing the issue. I think this is a fascinating topic, Greg Dyke, one of the most interesting on this programme today, if I may be so bold, because I'm a big fan of technology. I don't use cash. For me, I find it such an inconvenience
to have to go to
tip
your hairdresser who's done your highlights.
The tip that I'd give my hairdresser when she's done my highlights is, have you seen what you've done to me? I won't be coming back. That is the extent
honestly, you have to have
that I gave this time.
You have to have the fiver or the tenner to give to the girl who's washed
your hair.
And
do you know what I do? And do you know what I say when I go to a hairdresser that I like, by the way? I would say, can I add the tip onto my card? And more often than not, they say yes.
Okay. And what about the girl who washes your hair? You just give her 2 or 3 quid.
Come on. 2 or 3 quid?
But
bit more than that.
We're going off topic.
Well. Not for washing my hair, it's not, I tell you.
You know the thing that worries me with a lot of this sort of cashless society and the fact that we're sort of heading in that direction is, if you look at what's going on in Sweden, where we're now getting into the chip territory, I don't like that. That frightens me, because all your information is on your person, and it's dangerous. You know, that's where you can get people that are, you know, they're wealthy, they're being what's the word? You know,
robbed, hijacked, compromised.
All of the above.
Raided. Their details are being raided.
I just think
from the chips?
Yeah. It's scary territory.
I go to Sweden quite a lot because I've got a daughter who lives there, and it is incredible. I mean, nobody has any cash.
No.
Can I tell a story?
Go on.
I was asked by
Can we stop you?
by a glossy magazine to see if I could live cashless for a week.
Oh.
And
Easy.
I had to go to a rugby match at Twickers.
Yep.
Then I had to go to Paris. And when I got to Paris, I didn't have any money on me at all. I had my credit card, which was, as it were, contactless. But it didn't work in Paris.
Oh, my God.
And I ended up in the Tuileries with my daughter, who was starving. And I had to beg for a few francs to give my daughter a burger outside the Louvre.
Did they give them some?
But I think what you're talking about is our older generations, will they be left behind by the move to cashlessness?
Yes, and in the end,
also
they die, don't
they? It's also a city-country thing. If you go out of main conurbations, people still pay cash. You don't have access to bank machines.
No, I phoned my accountant, who's my mate, and I said, "God, what do you think about this?" And he said, "Well, he still uses, he's my sort of age, he uses cash." And he says, "But I go out every week, and I used to go out every week to the bank, get a pile of cash. Now," he says, "I have to go every month because you have to go so far to get to the bank." Because what's happening is they're closing the branches, they're closing the cash machines, which for 20–30% of the population, I suspect, is going to be quite difficult.
There's no access to cash.
And back to your point on Age, so there's a stat from Age UK, and what they say is cash is a great way to limit your risk. Older people often rely on others to help with shopping and accept that there is a risk of being shortchanged. If they only give a carer or a neighbour a £20 note, then they limit their risk substantially. And it's easy to see the change so that if there is a problem, you can raise it on the spot. Whereas if you're waiting for your credit card bill to come a month later and so on.
There's a guy, in Sweden, which I say has gone massively, there's an organisation called the Cash Rebellion, right, which there would be in Sweden, which is... and the guy who runs it says, when you have a fully digital system, you have no weapon to defend yourself if someone turns it off.
Yes.
If Putin, and this seems an exaggeration here, but if Putin invades Sweden's largest island, Gotland, it will be enough for him to turn off the payment system. No other country would even think about taking these sorts of risks. They would demand some sort of analogue system.
But I think we can bring it back to home, don't you think? I think it's in some ways scandalous that our children go through schooling with no lessons about economic matters, what a mortgage... They come out, some kids, poor kids, don't even know what a mortgage is, and then they're plunged... And I do think if you, and of course we won't ever go back, but if you have a pile of cash and you see that cash go as you buy yourself a cup of coffee, or you get yourself a taxi, or you have your haircut or whatever.
You spend less, for sure.
If young people just live off a piece of plastic, or as you say, a chip, I don't know how healthy that's going to be.
Actually, my kids have got these things called Monzo cards, which tells them exactly how much money they've spent on what, and so they can actually monitor that.
But I don't think it's different to having physical money in your hand.
It is, isn't it?
I think you value it more.
But the people that are going to miss out on a cashless society, it's not necessarily the old, it's the people that they call the unbanked. Because what they'll say is there's over 1 million people in this country that don't have bank accounts.
1.3 actually.
Yeah, so those people will struggle in terms of going cashless because they don't have cards, they don't have access to those things. And if you look in places like Philadelphia, what they've now done is they've made it illegal to have cashless stores. So you have to be able to, you have to be able to offer people the ability and facility to pay with cash if that's what they want to do, which I find interesting. But one of the final nails in the coffin for money maybe is the fact that Monopoly is going to launch a cashless version.
Oh no, how boring.
If you've been on a BA flight
you can't use money.
You can only use cashless or Avios points. So if anyone knows what Avios points are,
I do.
I mean,
I'll tell you.
I'm glad.
But the interesting thing is, are Avios points going to become another form of cash? There's all sorts of things becoming. Once everything is on a card.
All those rewards cards.
Yeah.
Well, we were all going to use your bitcoins until you lost most of your money.
Well, we'll go to the pub with you, and you can get out your watch if you've not been mugged, by the way. I'll spend that instead. Anyway, this week marks the end of Theresa May's premiership, and wow, has it been a bumpy ride. But before the Prime Minister gets the leopard print boot, there's just time to reflect on everything she's accomplished during her time in number 10. From that P45 moment to her unbelievable techers, matching every outfit with different types of a well-known shampoo brand. Like her or loathe her, Theresa May has given us some golden moments during her 3 years in office. And while she hasn't managed to deliver Brexit, our strong and stable leader can look back on her time as PM with pride and a certainty that she truly is the home county's dancing queen. Before we say our final farewell, there's just time to look at her parting gift to one lucky crowd at Henley Festival in Oxfordshire. Theresa, for all that, as well as giving us great value for money out of this and more, thank you. You are our Brexit means Brexit. We will never look at a field of wheat the same way again.
Yeah.
Are you going to miss her?
I suspect in a few weeks' time we'll be looking back fondly on the...
Saying,
on
come
the
back,
come
Theresa,
back,
all
Theresa,
is
mate.
forgiven.
Yes.
Farewell to the bloody difficult woman, do you remember, who probably wasn't difficult enough.
I know, they should have played Waterloo, though, you know, instead of Dancing Queen, because Brexit was her Waterloo.
It really was.
Don't go back on that. We've had enough testiness. Michelle.
That's it for this week on The Pledge. But don't forget, you can join in the debate by searching for us on Facebook or Twitter. And you can now listen to the programme on the go with Apple Podcasts. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.